went up there. All right. And we are live, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, yeah, that's a good thing, or we couldn't talk.
Gotta get what?
Or we couldn't be talking.
All right, dear. Yes.
Because if we were not live, we would be the alternative.
I know, yeah. I had to record this whole shit there and blah, blah, blah. All right.
Yeah, you sent the same news story twice. Okay.
That happens a lot at times there.
All right, got it.
All right, there. Welcome, everybody, to part 2 of our look at all the debut albums by every artist, every group that's out there, good, bad, and ugly. You name it there.
Because that's one thing about it. Every artist had a debut album.
Absolutely. What?
Buju Banton,
Who?
Lil Wayne, Birdman.
Right? Yes.
Buja. Every time I hear that name, Buja Wonton, I think of some alcohol drink or something there.
Not it's Buju Banton, and he's in my opinion he's the greatest Jamaican rapper ever.
Oh no. And you're outside again, Keith, right?
I'm at the park.
Oh yeah. All right, there. So.
Yeah, so Buju Banton, he had his debut album in 1990.
Mm-hmm. And the Jamaican rapper you said he was.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as of 2019, he has 51 radio hits in Jamaica.
I see there. All right, there. So we got a couple of things here from Blabbermouth here, from blabbermouth.net, and Wire sent some of the images, but not the articles here. But I guess involves one of the members of REO Speedwagon, Neil Daltrey. I guess he was a keyboardist and founding member. He's announced that he is retiring from touring.
Well, real quick,
Mm-hmm.
before we get into the news, I was listening to Eddie Trunk yesterday, and I didn't know this, but this is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to a bar or a club or any place where they play live music,
Yeah.
tribute bands, cover bands, some of those places have to pay. There's like 3 companies that own music rights and copyrights and all that shit, like WME and like all the shit you play, like when you play certain songs on YouTube and you can't play the video again, like it'll say this is be copyrighted by, because you play, you can't play like big bands on YouTube, like you can't do Metallica, you can't play Pink Floyd, you can't play Michael Jackson, like it'll all.
Yeah, that's true there.
So
I heard about that a lot of times.
So there's a thing where like they pay, some of these bars have to pay them a fee to that's crazy, and it's a real thing. Now some don't. It just depends. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's how it is, I guess. A lot of record labels are getting sick and tired of, their money being fucked with. They're sick and tired of the people not getting paid. They are not getting paid, basically. There, I guess what it is that since everybody for a while there, since everybody was going to these streaming services, whether it's Apple, iTunes, and everything else, just they could pay about 99 cents for one song, but the thing is, for a while we had these free music streaming services where you could get the latest songs, the latest classic songs, all the hit songs for free. There was a couple that I remember seeing there. And plus, not to forget, you could download a YouTube video of a song onto this thing called YouTube Converter, where you could just listen to it, bing, bam, boom. And a lot of record labels are pissed off about that because it's taking money from their pockets, the artists' pockets, and everything else there. I mean, you got to remember, so record labels are doing their very best, their very hardest. Some of even the bands out there, whether it's Metallica, Iron Maiden, Pink Floyd, that's fucking with their income, their source of money. That's their revenue coming in. So they basically have to do something there to keep the profits coming in, no matter what.
All right, go back. Let's go back to the news. Keith, go ahead.
All right. Let's see. REO Speedwagon's founding member Neil
Daltrey.
Daughtry retires from touring. After 55 years with REO Speedwagon, having spent his entire adult life on the road, keyboardist and founding member Neil Daughtry has decided the time was right to retire from touring and begin enjoying the fruits of his years of hard work. I want everyone to know that it was all that traveling that finally got to me. The 76-year-old Neil explains in a statement,
Oh.
I always enjoyed playing the shows, looking out to see all the loyal fans who allowed me to do this for so long. Neil will always be a member of the REO Brotherhood, says bassist Bruce Hall, and we all wish him as well as he enters this exciting phase of his life. REO Speedwagon will continue as the unstoppable touring machine the fans have come to expect, with 50 plus shows already on the books for 2023. Daughtry may join them on select concert stops. It will be a nice big change to look around and not see
He
Neil.
was like the piano player, keyboardist. Of the
Yes,
group.
he was. Yes.
Did he do any backing vocals as well, or just
I'm not too sure there. I know
keyboards, basically?
you basically that. I think it was Rich Rath and Bruce Hall that did the backup vocals on most of their songs there.
All right, let me get back.
Right?
Formed in 1967, signed in 1971, and fronted by Cronin since 1972.
Kevin
REO
Cronin, by the way, not Joe.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I didn't know it was Kevin, but I knew it wasn't Joe. REO Speedwagon's unrelenting drive, as well as nonstop touring and recording, jump-started the burgeoning rock movement in the Midwest. Platinum albums and radio staples soon followed, setting the stage for the release of the band's explosive His Infidel in 1980, which contained the massive hit singles Keep on Loving You and Take It on the Run. That landmark album spent 15...
the biggest. I mean, I guess Take It on the Run's the biggest one, but Roll with the Changes.
Yeah,
That's
that
a
came.
big one.
Yeah, that came out in 1978 there.
I've kind of seen them in concert.
And what's his name? Kevin Cronin is a singer, correct?
Yes, that is his name. Yeah, he made his debut on the second record, REO 2, and then he left for a while there, and they got somebody else whose name I do not know. Then after they parted ways with that singer, they asked Kevin Cronin to come back. He said, like, "Hey, what took you so long, guys?" And he's been there ever since
that
that.
one? You know that song, Roll with the Changes. Rolling the Changes.
Yeah.
No, I don't know it.
It's an old one.
I
There.
don't know.
Like their music is like inspirational. It's like about love, and like the sound of it is like uplifting type thing. You know what I'm saying? It has piano, like softer rock kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's rock and roll. I wouldn't say like some of it's soft rock, but it is definitely softer.
It's
You know
it's more like the easy rock stuff there.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, all right. I just raised my microphone though. Yeah. Does my voice sound louder now or no?
No, it sounds the same.
Oh, okay. Maybe it doesn't adjust the microphone. Anyway, that landmark album spent 15 weeks in the #1 slot and has since earned the RIAA's Converted Diamond Award for surpassing sales of 10 million units in the United States from 1977 to 1980. 1977 to 1989, REO Speedwagon released 9 consecutive albums, all certified platinum or higher. REO Speedwagon has sold more than 40 million albums around the globe, and Cronin and bandmates Bruce Hall, bass, Near, Daughtry, keyboards, Dave Amato, guitar, and Brian Hitt, drums, are still electrifying audiences worldwide in concert with hits and fan favorites such as Riding the Storm Out, Can't Fight This Feeling, Time for Me to Fly, Roll with the Changes, Keep on Loving You, Take It on the Run, and many, many more. REO Speedwagon remained busy throughout the pandemic before the band was able to return to the road. Beginning in April 2020, Cronin began a series of webisodes from his home titled Songs and Stories from Camp Cronin, consisting of anecdotes and acoustic performances from him and his family. The series posted 24 episodes. Cronin and members of REO gave back over the past 16 months of participating in charity events for St. Jude Children's Hospital. Mario Lau and Mark Hamill's USC McMurrow Neighborhood Academic
Merrill?
Initiative, John Oates Song Fest. John Oates Song Fest, Stars to the Rescue, Acoustic 4A, Cure, and more. Additionally, while Cronin began keeping a journal of the band's 2016 UK tour, he never stopped writing and recently submitted what turned out to be his life story as well as telling of REO Speedwagon's history. He says, putting out an autobiography is risky. Once it's out there, there's nowhere to hide. All right.
That's true there on that statement there. I mean, like, you look at Paul Stanley's book. I mean, like, with all the bash she did on Ace and Peter there, no doubt many people were saying, his voice fucking up like it was a couple years back was probably a payback for all the bash she did on those two. And because of all the stuff that Paul said in his book about those two, they probably will never ever see the original Kiss get back together, not even for about a full concert because of all that.
Yeah. You want me to go to the second story?
Yeah, go ahead. What about Wolf Hoffman of Accept?
Says it's super important for Accept to keep making new music. In a recent interview with Chaotic Riffs magazine, Accept guitarist Wolf Hoffman spoke about how he has managed to keep the band going for more than 4 decades despite all the personal shuffles and changes in the music industry. He said, as transcribed by Blabbermouth, I think if you're loyal to the heritage of Accept, and that's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're trying to write songs that we could have written all these years ago. And that's usually my motto. When I cite that, and as a matter of fact, I was sitting here 2 minutes ago working on a new song, and I always ask myself, does it really sound like Accept that?
Does it sound like Accept? Keith, I think it went out, dude. Your voice did. Keith? Keith? What the fuck, dude? What the hey, man? We lost Keith, man.
Mr. Work Harder, where's he at?
I don't know. Let's check here.
Where'd you go, Keith?
Keith, where'd you go, dog? I have no dang clue, man.
Oh, hey,
There you are, dude.
Yeah, I got a phone call.
Oh. Does it interrupt your calls on Skype by chance?
Yes.
That explains us. Let us know ahead of.
I said my phone started ringing and I said hold on. Did you hear me say hold on?
No, we didn't.
Oh, so when the phone starts ringing,
it immediately cuts you off.
Yeah.
I see there. That's explainable.
And it had did my icon have a hold sign? Like some dots and lines for the hold sign?
I see there, yeah.
Okay, yeah, all right. Hoffman went on to say it's super important for Accept to continue to make new music. I think the fans appreciate that, he said, and it's a good challenge for ourselves. I vividly remember when we relaunched the band and we found current Accept singer Mark Tornillo. We said, hey, if we're going to do this, let's do it properly and let's do it proper albums and not just play the old stuff, because we could have done that. We could have said it's not even worth bothering. Why bother? Nobody wants to hear new songs. They all want to just hear Balls to the Wall and Princess of the Dawn, which is true to an extent, but at the same time, it's kind of lame that you become your own cover band in a way. So we said, hey, we did it back. We did it back then. We wrote meaningful songs. Why can't we do it now? Hoffman is the sole remaining original member of Accept. which he formed in 1976 in the town of Solingen, Germany, with singer
Udo Dirkschneider.
Udo Dirkschneider and bassist Peter Baltes.
Mm-hmm.
Except's latest studio album, Too Much to Die, was released in January
Too
2021.
Mean to Die.
Oh, Too Mean to Die was
Yep.
released in 2021 via Nuclear Blast. The LP was the group's first without Baltes, who excited except in November 2018. He has since been replaced by Martin Motnick. Except's lineup has also been explained with the audition of a third guitarist, Phil Schaus, who originally filled in for W.E. Lewis during 2019 Symphonic Terror Tour, before being asked to join the band permanently. In a 2022 interview with Sally Steele Rock's show, Wolf was asked why there have been so many personal changes in Accept over the years. I'm the big bad wolf. I kick people out just when I feel like it, he quipped. Well, actually, to be halfway serious for a second, it's just the way it goes sometimes. We started off as teenagers in a sort of garage type band. And people grow up and they get married, they have different interests, and before you know it, one guy leaves the band and a replacement comes, and then the replacement leaves after a while. It's just the way it goes. It's a natural progression. I wish it wasn't that way. People develop different interests and life changes, so people leave. I'm the only guy who's never left. I'm like the last man standing.
Same thing with King Crimson. Look at all the lineup changes that band has been through.
Yeah.
And we're talking a lot. I mean, they're in this 7th lineup right now as they speak.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. And was is there more to the article, by the way?
Oh, no, there isn't.
Okay, there. That's understandable where Wolf is coming on. You got to have that one remaining member to keep the torch going. And Mr. Hoffman is doing that, ironically, there.
Yeah.
All right, so now as everybody knows, I plugged it earlier this afternoon. We are doing part 2 of all the debut albums by every artist and group that's out there. Good, bad, ugly, and obscure there. Now I have a couple lists here. One of them is best debut albums of all time. Of course, we also have, the worst albums by an artist there. I got 2 tabs up there.
Wait, what?
I said he's motor jokes dropping.
Oh, okay. All right, my bad.
All right. What song?
No, someone was talking to me.
Oh, okay, there. Okay, there. Now I got a list.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I got a debut album.
All right.
You have
Yeah.
one son of a gun.
Kid Rock grits sandwiches for breakfast.
You know what?
In
I'm glad you brought that up because that came out in I guess it was 1990 or 91 there. And
1990.
1990, yes. And the Kid Rock back then was not the all-American badass, a hick boy that we see him nowadays with the hat, the white beater T-shirt. This guy, you looked at the cover, he had one of those, what they call the eraser head hairstyle there. I mean, if you look at Keith, Google Kid Rock 1990, you'll see what I'm talking about in some of the photos.
I see the album cover. It's a cartoon album cover.
Yeah, it is. But that was the kind of hairstyle that he was sporting around that time there. It was a basic.
He kind of looks like Vanilla Ice.
Yeah, that was the style back then. But the thing is, it went a little bit larger than that. In fact, let me see if I can look. Keith, look up the Kid Rock 1990, and you see what I'm talking about. How he looked at back then. Okay. And keep in mind, this is the same guy who hoaxed everybody into thinking that he was going to run for U.S. Senate a couple years back.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, we knew about it. When my My sister and brother-in-law were talking about that there, and it turned out to be a complete hoax.
Yep. Oh, he looks like Chance from Team 10.
Yep. Yep. That's how I looked at back then. And it was all and basically he had a couple of the songs he had on that record was one was about anal sex called Wax the Booty, and the other one was going down on some your girlfriend called Yodeling in the Gudly.
Now,
And
did he sound like Vanilla Ice? Like
no, it was different than Vanilla Ice.
Oh, okay.
He was basically leaning towards rappers like D Nice, some of like the hot, more straight up rap stuff there, whereas Vanilla Ice was more pop oriented.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I actually had a copy of this record, actually a cassette tape, I should say. I saw it at a garage sale. Actually, I saw it at a Salvation Army store one time back when I was living in Richmond, Michigan. And the reason I got that was to show all the people there in Richmond that there was a Kid Rock before he became Ball with the Ball, or Only God Knows Why, or Born Free, the stuff he does now towards the countryside there. Well, because people assume of that Kid Rock instead of the Kid Rock that was mentioned a moment ago.
Right. Yeah, I see.
Yeah, exactly there. Because a lot of people out there think, oh, just Kid Rock just came out in 1990 during the new metal movement there, because of what came out a couple of years before that. Keep that in mind.
Yeah. I know the first time I heard about Kid Rock was Ball with the Ball.
Yeah, well, I knew about him back in 19. In fact, me and a girl named Lena that I was seeing at that time, there was a benefit at the Latin Quarter by the corner of Grand Boulevard and Woodward Avenue in Detroit. We went there and to see who all the bands that were playing there. Bands like the Trash Brats, Art Fag, that was the name of the group actually. And Kid Rock made an appearance up there. Did a couple of songs there. He had this other guy that was called himself the Black Man. It was like his own version of Flavor Flav, nonetheless. But it was a straight up rap album.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, exactly. It was straight up rap music there. In fact, I remember seeing him. Actually, I didn't really see him, but it was a photo of him, stopping by at a nearby local record store, singing hi to another local rapper whose name was Isham, who was a satanic rapper.
Oh, so yeah.
Yeah, look up the album "Boomin' Words from Hell" from Isham. You know what I'm talking about.
Okay, wait. Spell it. I don't really know what you said. So
Isham,
spell it.
Isham, Esham.
Yes, Ham. Isham.
And look up and put the words "Booming Words from Hell." That was the name of that album.
Okay, booming. Hell.
That was his debut album there.
Okay, it says I'm looking for when it came out. 1988.
Really.
Yeah.
It was told about it by the drummer of Loud House at that time, Vinny, who will later become the singer for Sponge.
Oh, okay.
And it was described as satanic rap.
Yeah, I think most rappers these days are satanic rappers.
Not really. No. Most rappers today are more emo.
Oh, all right.
We're going to spend all our time on this one.
No, we're not. We're not. We're gonna get back to the debut albums here.
I got another debut album.
Okay.
Limp Bizkit, Mental Aquatics.
Mental what?
Mental Aquatics came out in 1995.
Okay, there. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up when $3 bill came out.
I think it came out in 1998.
Oh, okay.
That was their terrible version of Faith, the George Michael song there.
Yeah. 1997.
Yeah, right there.
Um,
Okay, here's a
I guess
debut.
but I could say it in a few minutes from now.
Okay, there. Now here's a debut album that came out. It was actually the first release on Apple Records, the Beatles record label. Wonderwall Music by George Harrison. It was the first solo musical recording released by one of the Beatles. It was an
I
earned.
thought it was All Things Must Pass.
Yeah. Well, according to this is from a list called from a Rolling Stone magazine that I have up here, and it's basically an earnest expression of George Harrison's genuine interest in classical Indian music. Nonetheless, it reduces a complex tradition to a collection of hip background sounds. In fact, according to the article here, this album may be more memorable than the Jane Birkin flick its soundtrack did, but it's still soundtrack music meant to accompany and complement a film rather than stand on its own. But you know what? And let's not forget there was another obscure album that would come out soon by John Lennon. I think it was Two Virgins. And we know the story of that album cover there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And here's another one that you mentioned on the last episode, from Genesis to Revelation for '69, and this is still on the Rolling Stone list of worst debut albums here.
Oh, without a doubt. It's not a bad album, but it doesn't hold up to the rest of them after that.
Yeah,
at
exactly. Exactly. And another one you mentioned, "Empty Sky" by Elton John.
all. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Okay, there. Let's see here.
Oh,
Blah,
what
blah, blah.
about Lil Wayne? The Block Is Hot. That's his debut album in 1999.
Well,
If me and my art get a turn,
yeah. Go ahead there.
I'll start with Argent. They released their debut in 1970, and it's nothing like the Hold Your Head Up album. I forgot the name of that one.
All right.
But it's just basically self-titled. It's got some good songs on it. It's got one called Like Honey, Dance in the Smoke, and one you probably heard before by Three Dog Night, Liar.
Ah, I think I have. Yeah, a long time ago. I think it may have been the.
Well, it was a top 10 hit by Three Dog Night.
Oh yeah, I see there. All right there, YR. I think it's your turn, dude. YR.
I think you killed him.
I killed him.
You
jeez.
guys.
I think he's muted right now at the moment. There, probably taking care of some business. But I gotta throw this. I think did you talk about Jimi Hendrix? Our experience on the last episode, Ark?
I don't know if I did or not, but it was certainly one I would talk about.
Oh yeah, this was the first record by Jimi Hendrix here. The Jimi Hendrix Experience, Are You Experience from 1967.
That was a good debut.
It was definitely all the great songs on it there. Foxy Lady, When Cries Mary, their cover version of
Purple
Fire,
Haze.
Purple Haze, Manic Depression, Third Stone from the Sun, the title cut, I Don't Live Today, May This Be Love, Love or Confusion, Hey Joe. I remember having it on vinyl years ago there, and now it's just been reissued on vinyl. Thank goodness, thanks to the Experience Hendrix estate there, and also put it. You know what? One of these days, I'm also going to have to pick up the Electric Ladyland album as well that got reissued
Oh,
on
that's
vinyl.
a great album.
It is, especially side 3. That's one of the main meat
Is that
of that
the
album.
Sorry, I'm
long
in between,
version of
I'm in
Voodoo
between
Child?
shows.
Yep.
I'm on Dave's show, and I'm
You're
on
on
here.
Get Dave on, man.
Well, they're talking drama and bullshit, so
Yeah.
you don't want to mix that in. This is the most
No.
wholesome show in this community. It's this music show.
Yeah,
no one
It's
gives us a
very
chance.
hard to stay away
Bro,
from
if
drama.
if Joe or Ken or whatever had like, I don't want to say a brain, but bro, they should pick us up on their Patreon. It's content, bro. An hour. It's just the most wholesome show, bro. Zero drama, zero attitudes. Come on. But real quick, let me throw in my debut. album. One of my favorites.
All right.
Um, honestly, it's not the favorite. Now I need to think of my favorite debut albums that are my favorite albums out of the whole band's era, but probably, um, I really like. Um, damn it, I had it, guys. Fuck. I mean, look, like High Voltage, AC/DC,
Oh
right?
yeah. Was it
Uh,
U.S. version?
I don't know. I don't remember. It has Angus on the picture though.
Oh yeah, that's probably the U.S. version there because there were different. They had another. I think that may have been the first album back in their native Australia there, or either that or the album Dirty D's done dirt cheap, which
I
was
mean, I
different than
personally
the U.S.
like,
version.
obviously, Brian Brian Johnson fans, but like the '70s early AC/DC is. I mean, I think I like it. I like it better than the
Brian
Brian Johnson
Johnson.
era. Or,
You know what?
I mean, like different. It's just different. You know what I'm saying? Like
You know what? I
that
picked up the
guitar sound, everything, but it's
It
just
was.
different voice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
More groove, more bluesy with the earlier '70s AC/DC. But um, another one, real quick. What was Poison's debut album?
I think it may have been Look What the Cat Dragged In, and that came
I
out
mean,
in
that was good. And then the other
1986.
one, that was good. The other one I was thinking of, um, and this isn't my favorite album from them, but I think this debut album is probably the most best debut album of any band. Of any band, you look at the song list. Van Halen won first
Oh
album.
yeah, I think we did mention that on the last episode there.
Hmm.
We did.
I mean, we mentioned it, but if you think about it, that one you compare it to any other bands, it's. I mean, all
That
the hits
record made a fucking impact, without a doubt, man.
from Sam. I mean, that's a tough one to beat. Like if you're going in like like top five or something, right?
Yeah,
Like what other what like Led Zeppelin, maybe Black Sabbath first
yeah,
out. I mean,
yeah, definitely. No, we included those
to an
two as well
extent,
there.
on the first because everyone likes the second one and shit. But
Mhm.
um, you mean you couldn't say that about Maiden? You can't say that about Iron Maiden with their first time. I mean, it was good, but like it's not Dickinson. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I
So
know, yeah,
it's
but it was Paul Diano that on the second record, Killers, as well there. Which Killers,
right.
it really was coming into their own because they got Martin Birches to be their producer there. I
Even
forgot
Judas
the name of the,
Priest,
yeah,
like
Rock
we
and
can
Rolla.
mention, but it's not as like it's not one of my favorite albums from them. I mean, there's a few songs on there, right? But
Yep.
you compare it to the others, Sad Wings of Destiny, obviously British Steel,
Hmm.
Screaming for Vengeance. I mean, it's not coming close. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even for being a big Judas Priest fan, like I can't say, oh, their debut album is my favorite out of all. Nah, I would probably have to say honestly, Van Halen one for
Yeah.
my all time.
Yeah. Did you ever get a chance to listen to Rock and Rolla, the first Priest album there?
I mean, there's a few songs on there. I didn't listen to the whole thing, but it's just a different sound.
It is. Well, that was before. Usually, when a band starts out, they later come to their own. That's when they really establish their own identity with the second or third record there, usually at
Right.
times there. Whereas other bands just establish themselves right from the go. Zeppelin, Sabbath did, and of course Van Halen and Zeppelin definitely did that.
Well, here's a debut album that, in my mind, was their best one, but they've had other good ones. Blue Oyster Cult's first, self-titled.
Ah, nice.
Transmanicon MC, I'm on the lam, but I ain't no sheep.
Mm.
Then came the last days of May, Stairway to the Stars, Before the Kiss of Redcap, Screams, She's as Beautiful as a Foot, and probably a song you recognize, Cities on Flame with Rock and Roll.
Oh yeah, we know that one like the back of our hands. Mm-hmm.
But that was a killer debut album.
Nice.
Possibly my favorite by them.
All right. I gotta throw this album. Throw this one. This came out, I guess, in 1988 or 1989. Nine Inch Nails, Pretty Hate Machine, Head Like a Hole, Sin, you know, Sanctified, songs like the song Ring Finger, you know, Only Time. That record massively went big, and that's what put Trent Reznor on the map there. It came out on a label called TBT Records, and to this day, Head Like a Hole gets massive plays at the clubs at times there. In fact, that album just got reissued on a label called, get this, Bicycle Music. Now, where did Bicycle Music come from?
Got me.
I know, but then again, you never know. The album Physical by Libby Newton-John, that was reissued. That was reissued on this independent music label on purple vinyl. I forgot that.
What is one of your favorite albums, Keith? Debut.
Oh, let's see. I remember the first album I got, and it is a debut album.
Drake. What about Drake too? Go ahead.
Oh yeah, Too Far Gone was. No, it was.
Thank Me Later.
No, Thank Me Later was the second album. Too Far Gone was the first album.
Okay.
That's the one with Best I Ever Had. The one with Successful. It's like two songs with Lil Wayne. I forgot which ones. And then Thank Me Later was the second album with a whole lot of hits off Thank Me Later. He had 4 hits off his off So Far Gone. He had like 8 hits off Thank Me Later. What
was the debut album that you purchased or whatever that you had?
Arrested Development, 3 years, 5 months, and 2 days in the life of, and that came out in 19. It doesn't say
1992 or 3 there.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Like that album. That's a classic album. Like the whole album is so good. And like it was like my mom said, "I'll buy you a CD. Which one do you want?" And I said, "I don't know." She went to the store without me to buy a CD, and then she bought Arrested Development. It was a surprise. I didn't know what CD I was gonna get. And then after that, I picked out my own CDs. But yeah, Arrested Development, 3 years, 2 months, and 5 days or whatever it's called.
And is the ice cream truck behind you by chance?
No.
Oh, okay. So I heard some jingling. I thought the ice cream man was coming for you to get your bomb pops.
Oh no, I think it's this kid who's gonna be in the car with me, but he has like this little kid's tablet.
Oh, okay.
My next
Yeah, go
My
ahead.
next my next debut album is one that was a good album, very good album, but the group changed drastically when they got into their second and third one and beyond. Well, drastically, they changed their singer. Blood, Sweat, and Tears, originally founded by Al Cooper. And they wanted to be kind of a jazz, contemporary, whatever band. And some of the songs on that album were I Love You More Than You'll Ever Know, which is a fantastic song. My Days Are Numbered, Without Her, I Can't Quit Her, What Are We Doing? Something Going On. What?
Okay, Dr.
What
Brown.
Yeah.
I have to ask you this question.
Yes.
Do you support the LGBTQ community?
Well, there are people I know who I say hi to who are gay a couple of times. They're back in Detroit there, but you know.
Okay. Oh, it's
And who the heck is screaming in the background?
It's a little kid. It's the son.
Keith's son.
No, it's not. Do you want me to mute?
It's Keith's fetus.
Okay.
Back to where I was.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Ark.
House in the Country. Now, after this album, and they released Blood, Sweat, 2, 3, whatever, they replaced Al Cooper with David Clayton Thomas and did the big hits like
When I
what the
Die.
hell? Yeah, and Spinning Wheel.
Mm-hmm.
You've Made Me So Very Happy.
Yep.
Songs like that.
Yes.
Now, that's not to discount the first album. That was a good album, but it is different from anything else they did.
Yeah.
But the first one is still great to listen to. Child is Father to the Man.
Okay, so here's my pick for another massively big debut album. And this would help. This would go along with the hair metal scene that was running rapid at that time. And but unlike some of the hair metal stuff, the basic, happy rock, let's party all the time. This album dealt with songs about paranoia, struggles. I'm talking about Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses, 1987. This came out. It took a while for this album to really catch on fire, but around the following year, it was played everywhere on MTV, all the nightclubs, everywhere, on the radio, you name it, non-stop, man.
I got one. Taylor Swift. The album is called Taylor Swift Taylor's Version. And that's the one with teardrops on my guitar. Our song Picture to Burn. Should have said no. She had four radio hits on her debut album, and like all four of them were great.
Wow.
I mean, I'm not going to a Taylor Swift concert, but I listen to her songs on the radio.
Oh, I hear. Well, it's hard to avoid her songs, especially for a while there, because she was played everywhere on the pop circuit there.
Yeah. And, no, but her first album was a country album.
Yes, I remember that. Well, she started as a country artist, and she moved to the pop music realm, and now she's back in the country realms.
Yeah, for a long time she was going back and forth between country and pop for a long time, and then her Illuminati handlers told her just do pop music, don't do country anymore.
Yeah, because pop, you'll make more money. Of course, Taylor Swift being the puppet that she is to these guys, she figured, okay, I'll do so. Yup.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Right there.
Okay, my next one is the Marshall Tucker Band. Their first album was, in my mind, probably their best. But an album with Take the Highway and Can't You See? See You Later, I'm Gone, Rambling. My Jesus Told Me So. It's hard to beat. Hillbilly Band, Losing You. I mean, Take the Highway, Can't You See are two of their biggest songs.
Yeah. Here's one here. Came out in 1975. The first album from Journey, simply titled Journey. And this was a
did not have Steve Walsh.
Or Steve Perry.
Steve Perry. Sorry, I'm confusing.
Steve Walsh is with Kansas.
I know.
Yeah, it's understand. It's hard to get. Sometimes it's quite common to get the two mixed up there.
That's what happens when you name yourself Steve.
Well,
I don't know.
Blame their parents. Blame their parents. And this album was as we said, is a couple of years albums before Steve Perry would join the group. He did that with an album called Infinity, I guess in '78 there.
Right.
And this was basically the main vocalist was, I guess, Greg Rowley, the keyboard player. Now we all know Journey came out of basically two members of Santana, Neil Sean and Rowley. You also got Aisley Dunbar as their drummer, who used to play with Frank Zappa a couple years before. And Ross Valerie on bass. And basically it was a lot more, this album was a lot more prog and more noodly instrumentals. And I guess according to Rolling Stone, the lots of the instrumentals drag on for too little long. Believe it or not there. And the bright spot is definitely Mystery Mountain, a soaring rocker with explosive soloing from Neil Sean that still shows up in occasional set lists.
Yeah, it's definitely different than what they became to be known as later.
Yeah.
Because the next one actually, I think, had a cover of "It's All Too Much."
Hmm.
Because I know they did a cover of that Beatles song.
Yeah, I was going to say that is a Beatles cover that we're talking of.
And they do a pretty good job, but they were basically delving more into psychedelic type music in those first two albums. Then they kind of got more into, I guess, what do they call it? Power pop? I don't
Power
know.
pop? Maybe.
I don't know what they call it, but more with the Steve Perry. There, I said it right.
You Steve Perry, yes. Well, when you say power pop, I'm thinking of bands like the Cars, the Shoes, the Fabulous Poodles. Around the
It's not power pop, but it's I don't know what to call it.
Mainstream rock.
I think it's arena rock, mainstream rock, something like that.
Yeah, mostly mainstream rock because it later would get embraced by the mainstream.
Wheel in the Sky, Lights.
Yep. Feeling that way anytime that you want me. Loving, touching,
City of
squeezing.
the Angels.
Yep.
I mean, they're massively good in that, but it's totally different from those first two albums.
Yeah. And ones that all the people who only know the journey that we know of should listen to.
Yeah, another guy that falls into that category, his debut album was an album called Children of the Future, the Steve Miller Band.
Oh, yeah.
And this was when Boz Scaggs was a member of the group.
Yeah, Boz Scaggs will later have a solo career of his own. And he had some good solo songs there.
But that album, if I was to read off the list, you'd probably go, I never heard of them. I never heard of them. Because they're basically unknown numbers. But I have heard of them.
Other than ones I remember was Living in the USA.
Yeah, but that was on like the third album or something like that.
Okay, there. So what are these songs?
Well, one of them is a song called The Beauty of Time Is That It's Snowing, which is psychedelic.
Ah.
And I've heard a lot of them. They're blues and they're psychedelic. He jumps all over the place. Another song worth mentioning, or that is on a later album, it's a good one by him that you've never heard, is Your Saving Grace.
By Steve Miller. Ah, interesting there.
But he had a lot of good stuff. He didn't break out until like the 7th or 8th album with the Joker.
Ah.
And then Fly Like an Eagle. But he released at least 7 albums before the Joker. Children of the Future, the one I just mentioned, Sailor, Brave New World, Your Saving Grace, Number 5, Rock Love, Recall the Beginning, A Journey from Eden, and then the Joker, and that was the one that popped for him. Because then he followed that with Fly Like an Eagle, Book of Dreams, Circle of Love, Abracadabra. I mean, after that, people, hey, I've heard of him. Well, yeah, but you didn't hear the first 7 albums.
Yeah, that's right. All right, there. Let's see here. Bob Seger's first album was called Brand New Morning. And it gave, let's see here. It came out, I'm looking it up on the Wikipedia. It came out, let's see here. Blah, blah, blah. I was trying to figure out when was it came out there. There we go.
That was another guy that had 4 or 5 obscure albums before he hit it.
Yeah, exactly. Noah was one of them. Featured the song Death Row, which was the flip side of 2+2. And the first record was titled, what was it called? Son of a bitch. Let's see. Was in 1968. He was a local successful Detroit area artist. He performed and recorded as Bob Seger and the Last Herd with the East Side Story. I remember hearing that one. the Bob Seger system throughout the 60s and early 70s, and he breaking out through with this album Rambling Gambling Man, which contained the national hit of the same name. And Brand New
Sorry,
Morning.
it's my phone.
And it doesn't say when Brand New Morning came out, but I think it may have been in the start of the 70s. I'm not too sure there. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, let's see. 1971. That's when that album came out. As simply Bob Seger. And a couple years later, Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band would emerge from this.
Yeah. And actually, there's a studio version that turned the page on one of those early albums.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember hearing that on the radio one time there. I gotta mention this debut album here. It's from John Mellencamp, but it's under the name Johnny Cougar. Because you remember,
Right.
he was John Cougar in the early '80s there, and then later he became
And he was John Cougar Mellencamp.
Yep, and a couple years after that, officially John Mellencamp. Now, this album called Chestnut Street Incident was released under the name Johnny Cougar from 1976. It was his first record. He was basically shooting for the Springsteen style of music that was running rapid at that time there. But
Right.
he had covered songs of basically reworkings of Do You Believe in Magic, the Loving Spoonful cover, Jailhouse Rock, or Pretty Woman. And on this record, according to the article here, he came off more as a pillow-lipped pop collar pinup, as he was portrayed on the album cover here. Now, they were styled, believe it or not, by Tony DeFries, who you may remember managed David Bowie and later, for a while, Iggy Pop and the Stooges. But on a handful of originals, the words of songs like American Dream finds basically, it was a painted picture of a town that rips the bones from your back, only to retreat glitches from factories, homecoming queens, and Saturday night fights.
Cliches.
Pretty much, yeah. That was the that's basically it's probably no longer in print, and I'll bet you 20 times that Mellencamp is glad that it doesn't exist no more there.
Right.
Oh,
I got one.
All right.
Nirvana, Local Anesthetic.
When did that album came out?
1989.
Because I thought it was the one that came out was Bleach.
I thought it was. Oh, okay. Bleach.
Yeah.
Let's see. It did say Bleach. Okay, Local Anesthetic and Bleach came out in 1989.
All right. So that was your old fish. Because I remember it was just simply called Bleach.
Oh, Local Anesthetic came out at the beginning of 1989,
All right.
and
there.
Bleach came out later, 1989.
Okay. So two albums came out there.
Nevermind. Yeah. Yeah, Nevermind came out in 1990. That was their third album.
1991. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was all over the radio and everywhere else at that time there.
Okay, my next one, Badfinger. Magic Christian Music, which was actually, I think, a soundtrack for a movie.
The Magic Christian movie that had Ringo Starr in it. And this is the one that had Come and Get It, that Paul McCartney wrote for the band.
Well, that's what I was going to mention, is the two most known songs in this album, because the rest of them are good, but you hadn't heard of them, were Come and Get It, and one called Crimson Ship, which is a great song.
Yeah. And it's sad
if you ever get a chance to listen to it, do it.
And it's sad that this group never really, really broke it.
And never
big.
realized their potential.
Exactly. There was so many management issues within that group there, and it got to the point where two of the main members, Tom Evans and Pete Ham, ended up taking their own lives because of this.
Yeah. Which is
sad. And it's kind of ironic. One of their songs, "Without You," would be later covered by Harry Nilsson.
And a
Heart,
big hit for Harry Nilsson.
Harry Nilsson, Heart, and later Mariah Carey. Believe it or
Yeah.
not. Yeah. That's interesting enough there. All right, here's one here. For You by Prince, 1978. And he was 19 years old at that time there. And apparently he did mention that it wasn't really him. It was like a machine. He said that the problem with that record, it was slightly overproduced with formulaic disco without the inspiration to back it up. Now the hit song from that record was, of course, I believe it was no, what's wrong there? Ah, there it is. Soft and Wet was the big radio hit at that time there. And it had other songs like I'm Yours, In Love, We're Together, blah, blah, blah there. I don't know if it didn't have the I Feel For You, the original version of that song there, included on this album there. And I guess, they decided, they're convinced that the label let him self-produce his album there. And guess the sessions were riddled with tensions between the executive producer. And it said it left the Prince in about $100,000 in debt and a physical wreck. Wow.
My next one is Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, which was the name of the album.
Yep.
The big ones on there were Breakdown and American Girl.
Oh, yeah. Those are two of the favorites, especially Breakdown. I mean, I don't know if you ever watched the videos from Tom Petty when they would do that song, but there was one, I remember, where the audience would sing along the whole words of that song, chorus included.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, by the way, to get off topic here, sidebar, you got to check out this crowd at a music festival in the UK sing along to Bohemian Rhapsody, the whole song. The whole song. And this was moments before Green Day was going to take the stage at this festival. Now, if I was Freddie Mercury and I was looking down to seeing that, I'd be crying tears of joy. Most definitely. All right, there. What happened to Keith and YR?
I don't know. Hopefully they're here and listening.
I know. I know Keith is muted. YR is muted there.
Okay, my next one
here.
is...
There you are,
Yep.
Keith. What happened to YR?
Yes.
Oh, well,
I don't know.
my next one is The Who, Sing My Generation, 1965.
Ah.
Has My Generation on there.
Yep.
Legal Matter. And The Kids Are Alright is the songs you would possibly know.
Yep.
I mean, there are the songs in here are pretty good. And the interesting thing about it is released on the Decca label. And I don't remember whether it was this one or Magic Bus because I owned both of them. But on the back, it had a little thing. If you like this album, you'll like Lynn Barry. And I'm sitting there going, really?
Lynn Barry?
Yeah, he's a guy. He was a pop artist that sang like 1, 2, 3. And when you hear it, it's like, this sounds nothing like The Who.
Damn. But then again,
But that was the geniuses at Decca, the same people that turned down the Beatles.
Well, oh, dude. You okay? What was that? Hello? We hear you are.
I don't know.
Ah. Keith's here. He's muted. Again.
All right. So
Well, at least we don't hear the little kid.
what is
Well,
I'm
he's
here.
back home now.
what is the debut album, Keith, for Tupac and or Tupac
Tupac.
and Biggie Smalls.
It's Tupac, not Tupac.
It's
Oh yeah,
Tupac.
it's Tupac.
Tupac, dude.
Tupacalypse Now.
Yep,
Came
that
out-
was it.
What about Biggie?
Ready to Die. Born to. I think it was
Ready to
born.
Die.
Yep.
Ready to Die. And then his second album was Life After Death.
Yep.
And then he died like the day before Life After Death got like debuted.
Released. Yes.
Yeah.
I meant released.
In fact, Keith, probably sometime you want to look up the thing that happened in New York City when his casket was being drove around Brooklyn, New York. They played the song "Hypnotized" and everybody just went nuts.
Yep,
Police had to be called in, believe it or not.
Yep, I saw the documentary movie. It was back when I used to have cable. I saw the documentary on the channel Fuse. You know that channel Fuse?
I've heard of it. Yes.
It's kind of like MTV.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, my next one is a guy by the name of Bruce Springsteen. His debut was "Greetings from Asbury Park." Had a couple of songs on it that were covered later by Manfred Mann's Earth Band.
Yep,
"Blinded by the Light,"
and "For You,"
"Spirit in the Night."
"Spirit in the Night." And "For You" was on a later album.
And "For You," yes.
Oh yeah. All right.
This
there.
was a pretty decent debut. A lot of people haven't heard it, but it was pretty good.
Yeah, I remember hearing the original versions of those songs a couple times, but people focus on the Manfred Mann's version, believe it or not.
Of both of them.
Yeah, exactly. Though this Manfred's cover of "For You" is pretty damn good.
Right.
Damn straight good, to be exact there.
Manfred Mann's Earth Band kind of liked Bruce.
Oh, obviously, man. I think I'm surprised Manfred was even that surprised that I don't know if I was Springsteen, I heard about this guy. I would at least accompany the guy. I joined him on stage to say hi and sing along those songs with him.
Yeah.
Because I know Peter Green did Black Magic Woman with Carlos Santana by his side there.
Right.
Yeah. For the obvious
Yeah, a
reason.
lot of people don't know Black Magic Woman was an original by Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I know there, along with Green Manalishi.
Yes. What do you think about who is more? Can they still tour? The two most expensive, not the two most, but they are in the top 10 or top 5 of the most expensive tickets to buy. Who is more popular in your opinion? And they both have huge catalogs. Billy Joel or Bruce Springsteen? But
I'd say Billy Joel.
more popular, more.
Yeah.
I would be. I'd go along with that. I think that's true.
More than Springsteen, really.
I mean, I only know one song from Bruce Springsteen.
Really? Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of them.
Born in the USA.
Well,
Born
you gotta
to
look.
Run.
You gotta look up "Born to Run," "Thunder Road," "Rosalie." You also gotta look up "Point Blank," "Hungry Heart," "I'm on Fire," "Going Down," "Tunnel of Love."
Did y'all mention the Rolling Stones or the Beatles debut albums?
We
Yep.
did, yes, on the
Last
last
week.
episode.
Yes.
All right, I
got-
gotta throw. What?
I got an album. Buju Banton's debut album is called Mr. Mention, and here's all the radio hits he has on his debut album: Batty Rider, Love How the Girl Flex. Let's see what else. Love Me Browning.
Brownie?
Let's see.
Dr. Brownie.
Dr. Paul.
Love Me Browning. Bonafide says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 he had 5 radio hits off his debut album.
All right.
Out
And
of
those are mostly
50
played on the underground stations, I take it, right?
Yes. But they play them all the time in Jamaica.
Oh, obviously, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
No surprise there.
Yep.
I mean, like Bob Marley over there
Yeah,
is worshipped like a god.
Yeah, there's this new Jamaican rap station down here. It's new. It's only been out for like a year or two. It's a new Jamaican rap station. They play like new Jamaican rap from like the last 5 years.
Oh. All right, there.
I'm going to go with Kansas.
The first album.
Yeah, the one with I think it's the abolitionist John
Brown
Brown
on the cover there. Yeah, that's his name. The abolitionist John Brown.
And it's a pretty good album, actually.
Yeah.
You may have heard Can I Tell You, Bringing It Back, and Lonely Wind. Journey from Mary Braun.
I don't think I
Death
have.
of Martha Makes You Sweet. If you haven't, I'd recommend it.
All right, there. Definitely you got to do so. I got to mention this one debut album from 1983. Now, we all know the band Ministry, right? YR, Keith, the hard rock band.
Suppose.
The hard rock band, the industrial that caters to the heavy metal industrial crowds there. Songs like we know songs like NWO, Just One Fix, Stigmata,
They did the
DNT.
Wolfpack song?
What?
They did the NWO Wolfpack song?
No.
We've never heard of this group. Me and Keith
Ministry?
have heard-
Ministry?
Never heard of it.
Ministry?
Never heard. Nope,
Well, you
I
got-
never heard of it.
Oh, yeah.
Keith heard of it?
Your
No.
voice is Ministry?
I think Keith's
Never
been to
heard.
a free concert at the Hard Rock.
Well, Keith, you got to look up these albums. The Land of Rape and Honey, Psalm 69, The Mind's a Terrible Thing to Taste, and you see what I'm talking about. Dark Side of the Spoon, Filth Pig. This is more guitar, raging guitar with drum machines and screaming vocals on most
Keith,
of
what's
those
the name of
albums. This
Hard Rock
album,
Cafe?
what?
What's the name?
What do you think?
What's the name of that Hard Rock Cafe where they have the concerts, Keith?
Hard Rock Live.
Hard Rock Live. If you have like Metallica and stuff there, Brown, you should go with Keith there.
All right, there. Well,
Yeah.
anyways,
Dr. You're a 5-hour drive away from me.
yeah. Well,
Is it Orlando?
No, he lives an hour west of Orlando.
Oh, Seminole.
Oh yeah. The Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino.
All right, I'm gonna pull up the event calendar, Brown. It's a 7,000
all right,
Vietnamese music comedy festival. Jason Isabel, Billy Joel, January 27th.
anyways, this debut album came out in
Well, hold
1980.
on, Brown, listen. Bruce Springsteen and Billy Joel's gonna be there.
All right.
Which one would you rather see with Keith, Billy Joel or?
Neither. I'm sorry. Not in the. Well, I don't mind some of their songs, but I'm not willing to pay all that much money to see them.
What about Gladys Knight?
No thanks.
Roger Daltrey in concert.
No, I may take a step, but it would be better if Pete Townsend was with them.
The Judds. They get a lot of fucking. They get big fucking.
Isn't the mother dead?
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, did Wyona take hold of the name?
It's the final tour, so it'll be just.
Well, the final tour was a year before.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say.
It's like a remembrance of her type
All right.
tour.
So basically, it's a tribute to the Judds.
Yes.
All right, there.
Featuring one of the Judds, apparently.
Yeah, mostly Winona.
That's crazy because it's like the venue, that Hard Rock venue. It's like kind of like the Judas Priest thing. It's smaller, but they're having like.
But it's big inside.
Yeah, they're having. Well, now it's like Bruce Springsteen and Billy Joel. Like they play at bigger arenas. Like
They
Billy
do.
Joel's touring with what's her name from Fleetwood Mac,
Mhm.
right?
Stevie Nicks.
Steve Nicks.
Yeah,
'Cause
and
Christine McVie's no longer with us.
Yeah.
and he's doing
Yo,
like
oh
football.
shit.
So to see Billy Joel and Springsteen at this Seminole venue is like it must be like the best place for sound because Metallica did a special 2-day thing like a couple months ago there,
Wow.
and it's so small. It's like an underplay. It's like it's smaller than what they normally would
It's
play.
like it's going to a performing arts center.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a good sound.
I don't know if it's good sound.
Look that up real quick. Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, I got another debut. Oh, that wasn't it.
What the heck?
I don't know. Procol Harum.
Hmm.
They released, well, there's several different versions of the album, but the U.S. version is the one I'm going to do. A Whiter Shade of Pale starts the album.
Hmm.
She Wandered Through the Garden Fence. Surtees Outside the Gates of. A Christmas Camel. Conquistador, the early version before they did the orchestra one on the live album.
Hmm.
And Repent Walpurgis. Kaleidoscope, Salad Days Are Here Again.
Wow, I just read something.
What?
There's
That's
a
good.
lot
You should read.
of, there's a lot of people saying that the Hard Rock Live has terrible sound.
Hmm.
That's all I read.
All right. Well, I got a debut album that was totally. I was talking about the band Ministry earlier on. We know the songs like Stigmata, NWO, Just One Fix, which are basically a hard guitar-driven songs with drum machines here and there with actual drums mixed in there. This album, With Sympathy, came out in 1983, and it was totally different though the Minister that we now know of today. In fact, it was a techno pop record. I remember the video for that song, for the album Revenge, was briefly
Yeah.
played on MTV
But
there. Different.
Brown was forgot to mention
Hmm.
by the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Did you see the videos?
Not yet. I didn't know about it until now there, until you got on the call there. But that's when you saw them, the last Wednesday there.
Yes.
Hmm. And I guess I got to check that out most definitely there. I'm so busy with work and everything else here and blah, blah, blah there. So I definitely got to check out when we're done with the
Extremely
show here
attractive.
tonight. All right there. Now, With Sympathy, as I mentioned, was a techno pop record. Revenge, Work for Love were the big hits from that record there. And it was supposed to go along with the likes of Heaven 17, Eurythmics, the Human League. That was the main thing back then at that time. Now, Al Jorgensen said that he dislodged and disowned that album for many years, saying it was an abortion of an album. He even encouraged people not to buy it, but shoplifted it. And you see, oh no, what we're doing now is 20 times better than that piece of shit record there. I mean, like, wow. I think finally now he isn't starting to embrace that record. But a lot of people within the underground scene saying that it was a great record. Why is he dislodging it for? Well, but then again, at that time, you're being forced to put out this kind of record because of this particular style being the main thing at that moment there.
Okay, next one I got. Quicksilver Messenger Service, 1968. They were kind of a jam band, but they also played regular songs. Pride of Man, Light Your Windows, Dino's song. Gold and Silver, which runs about 6.5 minutes. It's Been Too Long. The Fool, which runs about 12 minutes. Definite jams.
All right there.
But well worth the effort.
I got one. Breaking Benjamin Saturate from 2002, and there are no radio hits on this album.
Oh.
Breaking Benjamin's debut album, Salary. 2002, no radio hits on the album.
And what year it came out again?
2002.
Okay, there.
And
All right,
Breaking
there.
Benjamin is my favorite rock band.
Here's a debut album that was quite obscure at that time from Devo. Are We Not Men? We Are Devo.
Yeah, there's a couple of radio hits on there, but I forget what they were.
Well, I know of Satisfaction, the Stones tune there.
Yeah. Take Me to the River came later, right?
No, that was Talking Heads. That was covered over. That was their version of that
Never
song.
mind.
But it was
Sorry,
a good
I get
song.
those groups kind of confused.
But you know what? It was a good cover that they did there. I remember it being played on the radio during that whole year. Very good track there.
Dr. Earl,
Yeah.
why do you want me to mute when I flush the toilet?
Because it just seems inappropriate, dude, when you think about it.
It
Let alone
does.
hearing you take a leak.
Like Keith on a comedy show, like a drama show, it's appropriate, but like on a music show, it's not appropriate. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly,
Oh,
yeah.
all right.
It's
Okay.
like a bit. It's like a bit on other shows.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah, because, it's
like
just,
these
we're discussing good music, and all of a sudden we hear you, we don't need to hear you tinkling in the potty there.
Okay.
Okay, my next debut album is The Grateful Dead.
Simply called The Grateful Dead.
Snow, Sitting on Top of the World. Cream Puff War. And they do a great cover of Morning Dew. And they do another song called Viola Lee Blues, which is kind of a taste of what they're going to later do, jams, because this song runs about 10 minutes and is really good. And this studio album is the only one that has the impact of Ron Pigpen McKernan before he died in 1973.
Oh, I heard about this guy, man.
Oh, he was big in that band when they first started.
Oh, yeah. So what happened to him? How did he die?
Cirrhosis of the liver,
All right. So,
which is, I think, a drinking disease, isn't it?
gotta remember a lot of band
Sort of.
people.
I mean, not always, but it can also be other things besides that, but that's largely what causes it.
Oh.
But if you ever want to hear some good Grateful Dead, this album is good. Morning Dew is 5 minutes long, and it's a great version of this song. It's an old Tim Rose, Bunny Dobson song.
Ah.
It's a standard that's been around for years.
Ah. All right. Here's another one here. We should mention. I remember having this album when I went to the summer camp in 1980. I remember hearing this album by one of the camp counselors. He was into the new wave scene with this group, XTC. He had the Sex Pistols only album with him as well there. We mentioned this, never mind the Bullocks.
Yeah, it was actually their only album.
Yeah. The Pretenders first album, which I guess came out in 79. I didn't purchase it until the year later there, after coming out of that camp. Pretty good stuff on that album. Precious, The Phone Call. Of course, Brass in Pocket was the big hit from that record there. Kid, Lovers of Today. Their cover of Stop Your Sobbin', the Kinks tune there. Space Invaders, a cool instrumental. Pretty good album there, I was a big fan of that album for a long while there.
Yeah.
Now, I got one. Seven Dust, which is absolute amazing rock band. I love Seven Dust. So their debut album was Seven Dust, which came out in 1997. But it's like I didn't even hear about Seven Dust until like 2012. But their debut album, they have a bunch of radio hits on it. 1997, they have Black, Bitch. Actually, Bitch is my
Oh,
favorite.
we're watching language.
Okay, Biatch is my favorite Seven Dust song. I thought Biatch came out like in 2012 but it actually came out in 2007. I mean 1997. So like Face is on there. Um, yeah, three radio hits: Black, Biatch, and Face.
Okay, my next one.
I think.
This was when the band only had 4 members. The Eagles.
Ah. The
Take
Eagles.
It Easy, Witchy Woman,
Mm.
Peaceful Easy Feeling were the big ones on this album.
Oh, I see. I remember Take It Easy still gets played a lot.
Yeah, Witchy Woman.
That got played a lot, and that got condemned by the Christian right, Christian activist group saying that's a vulgar with the lyrics because of the lyrics, blah blah blah. There,
And this was when the group was Glenn Frey, John Henley, Bernie Layden, Randy Meisner.
Oh yeah, I guess Don Felder would later join in a couple years later. There,
Yeah, I don't know whether he joined in the second one or not.
right. Here's a debut album from a well-respected, someone that helped influence the Sisters of Mercy. Songs of Leonard Cohen by Leonard Cohen from '67. It had an interesting cover there. It had a big close-up of Cohen's face on the front cover with the title above it, Songs of Leonard Cohen. And on the back cover, it had this picture of this lady looking up with her hands up there in flames, in pits of hell or something like that. That was a confusing thing to look at. I don't know what the story is about that. Got to look that up. But one of the songs from this album was called Sisters of Mercy, which later prompted the band of the same name years later. That's where they got their name from. In fact, Sisters frontman Andrew Eldridge was a big fan of Leonard Cohen.
Okay, my next one is the James Gang.
With
It
Joe
was
Walsh.
called Your Album with Joe Walsh. Had Take a Look Around, which is a great song. Funk 48, which precedes Funk 49.
Ah.
A great cover of Bluebird, which is incredibly guitar work. Lost Woman, which you'll hear bass licks in that song that'll blow your mind. Collage, I Don't Have the Time. Fred, Stop, which it's a more incredible bass lines in it. There's some great bass on this album. You'd be amazed.
Oh, wow, interesting there.
John Paul Jones.
All right, go ahead.
John Paul Jones, Keith?
Yeah, he turned 77.
Never heard of him.
Oh, he's a bass player, keyboard player, rager for Led Zeppelin.
Oh, he's the voice for Darth Vader.
You mean James Earl
No,
Jones?
that's James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones, yeah. And no, he didn't release any records there. James Earl Jones didn't.
You ever heard of this guy? Keith, look him up. Jeff Scott Soto.
Never heard of him.
I have.
Jeff.
He's a singer.
He's in Trans-Siberian Orchestra. I saw him. He was there. Thought he was in the crew.
Yeah. I never. Until YR gave me the. I know. Oh well, actually, I didn't know, but I kind of knew.
This guy called it the Trans Orchestra.
Oh gosh, dude.
I got an album. Luke Bryan, I'll Stay Me. That came out in 2007, and it's got one radio hit on it, which is We Rode in Trucks.
Ah.
Yeah.
Right there. I got this one here. Looking for this. NWA, Straight Outta Compton from 1988. One of the blueprints for the gangster rap genre.
So the self-titled?
No, Straight Outta Compton.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Yeah. Then that's 1985, right?
No, 1988.
Oh, okay. Wow. All right.
Big controversy. That was the one with "Fuck the Police" on one of the albums there. That's the one that got him in trouble with the FBI that year.
Yeah.
In fact, there was a story when they did the perform. They tried to do that song in Detroit, Michigan, one time at some sort of a concert that they were co-headlining there. They were told by the Detroit police not to perform "Fuck the Police," but they decided to do it anyways. All of a sudden, the police show up on stage, and they start running all over the place. And members of NWA did, and that basically caused the place to riot. I think it may have been the Joe Louis Arena or the Cobra Arena. I'm not too sure what it was, but that caused a whole bunch of ruckus. And NWA did say that the police caused that to happen by showing up on stage, you know, because they were
Well,
forbidden.
actually, they caused it to happen to do the song they were told not to do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But then again, we know how some rappers are performers when it comes to
Rationalize
define.
their behavior.
Yeah, exactly. I remember Ice-T's Body Count was requested when they played in Flint, Michigan, not to play Cop Killer. Ice-T just took the note, crumbled up, and rubbed it on his crotch, and they did the song anyways.
Yeah. Now, was that song about killing cops? Because Ice-T doesn't seem like a person who would say "fuck the police."
No, that was NWA. But here's the thing.
I know, but
yeah, but
did Ice-T have something against cops?
no. Well, here's the story behind that song. The song was
Okay.
inspired by what happened with Rodney King a year before. Remember, the Cop Killer song came out in '92. Rodney King beating took place a year before, and we all seen the footage. We all saw what happened there. Many people were outraged, including other cops themselves, at the behavior that the LAPD did to this guy. So,
Right.
so Ice-T, when he raps about situations like that, he's rapping from the viewpoint of the person so angry, so frustrated, so upset at the law enforcement that he decides to kill all these cops.
And ironically,
Oh.
he plays the police on
Law and Order, Special
Special
Victims
Units.
Units, yes.
Yep.
He also played a cop in a short-lived series called Players that ran on the same network, NBC, for a short while there.
He's actually pretty good.
He is, actually. He's a good actor. I mean, check
Yeah.
out, Trespass with Ice Cube, New Jack City,
Friday.
yeah. Well, I don't think, was he in Friday?
Right.
That was Ice Cube.
Ice-T was not in fact. Yeah, that was Ice Cube.
Yeah.
Joe Walsh's first solo album was
Mm.
So What?
Um,
And it had the big one on that was Welcome to the Club.
mm.
But he also did a great version of Turn to Stone, Held Me Through the Night, County Fair.
I heard Turn to Stone. Pretty good song there. In fact, that was one of the first songs I started learning while I was learning how to play the guitar there.
And of course, he followed that with the Smoker You Drink, the Player You Get,
With, of course, Rocky Mountain
Rocky
Way on
Mountain
it.
Way.
Featuring
Yeah.
Glenn Fry on the slide guitar there.
My favorite Ice-T song is "I'm Your Pusher," and it's like he's rapping like he's selling drugs, but he's not. It's not drugs he's selling; it's his music he's selling. But
Yeah, the basically is let the music get you high instead of the drugs, which I agree 100%.
yeah. I got an album. Okay, Jason Aldean. His first album is called Jason Aldean, and it had 4 radio hits on it. It came out in 2005. Hicktown, Amarillo Sky, Y, and Asphalt Cowboy.
Mm.
We're kind of reaching the end of this thing here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
And we need to plug my Patreon.
yeah, we got to do that there. But go to excuse me, patreon.com/Arknolia. Listen to Arknolia's episodes and discussions on sports, music, TV, movies, everything else in between. Me, YR, and Keith.
I got about 60 plus music videos or
Episodes.
podcasts up there. and I think 10 TV, 8 movies,
Mm-hmm.
about 35 baseball,
Oh, wow.
maybe more than that.
Mm.
Might be about 40.
All right.
Various odd and end things, and I would encourage everyone to go out there and get a listen. I need people.
Yes. So definitely sign up for Ark's Patreon there at patreon.com/Arknolia. Definitely got believe me, folks, you will not be disappointed there. And let's all encourage young people to do the same
Because I actually get to play little pieces of the music.
without getting struck.
Right.
Yeah.
Are we doing a music show tomorrow night?
Yes, we are. At most
Yeah, what do
definitely.
we want to cover?
I know we mentioned this on the last episode. People people talk about one particular song from this one band, but ignoring the others.
Huh?
How many? Like for example, Warrant. People we know their song "Cherry Pie" like the back of our hands, but they ignore other songs that were somewhat big hits, like "I Saw Red" or "Down Boys," "Dirty Rotten Filthy Stinker Rich." I remember their frontman Janie Lane, rest in peace, talked about how they always talk about cherry pie, cherry pie, cherry pie. This, but yet, and that kind of came me to mind because when an artist comes out with a massively big song, but yet the other songs often get ignored. Like, for example, I'm sure Percy Sledge had other songs on his catalog other than When a Man Loves a Woman.
Okay. The other ideas, well, among the other ideas I had was
Mm-hmm.
songs that you would call bizarre, off the wall, different.
Let's do them both tomorrow night. How about that? Because I
Okay.
know that the one hit song is not going to make up for what probably will not even last for a half hour there. And that's for sure.
Oh,
But it is something we got to bring.
a lot longer than happen. You'll be amazed.
Yeah,
But let's
All
do
right.
it, and if it have to, we'll go to part 2 on Wednesday.
absolutely. There, let's do it.
Okay, I got one song I know that's bizarre and off the wall. I'll
Save
for
it.
some-
Save
Yeah, I
it
know,
for the show there.
Okay.
Unless you want to give people a taste.
Yeah. Or a
No, because
clue.
it's the only song I could think of that's like that. I mean, should I say it or no?
Give us a clue.
Mm,
Okay, Bizarre, Nasty Mind.
Mm.
Bizarre is a rapper from D12, and he has this one.
Come on, man,
one
with the drama stuff. Come on.
Who? Drama?
I'm not talking about drama.
Oh.
He's talking
Okay,
about
Bizarre.
Bizarre.
no drama allowed on this show.
Thank you.
It's he has this one song called Nasty Mind, Bizarre, Nasty Mind, and it's like bizarre. It's really bizarre.
All right.
It's the most bizarre song you will ever hear.
All right. Well, that's how he got it. That's why he's named Bizarre.
Yeah.
Well, right, but we were talking more along the lines of songs that are, well, never not named bizarre, but are bizarre for whatever reason.
I know. That's the only.
unusual.
Whether it's noise or obscure tuning of guitars or the lyrics,
Oh,
just
okay.
different
way
for some
different.
reason. Yeah,
All right.
Dr.
way
Brown.
different.
Yeah,
Bro, you have gotten so many views on those Judas Priest videos.
I know. Yeah, I know. Somebody. I know.
441 Devil's Child.
Mm-hmm.
You have obviously 351 Genocide. 441 on Devil's Child. That's huge.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There.
Ah,
Hell, one of the techno sets I did a couple weeks ago, that's climbing up, getting lots of views as well. There, I noticed.
wow.
Damn. And I've gotten a couple of new subscribers for my channel. I'm right now at 585.
Good for you.
Yay! Now everybody
I'm
starts.
guess
Now everybody starts
Maybe they'll
subbing.
start listening to this show.
Right.
I'm guessing. I think all those views on the videos I just mentioned are people from other maybe music communities.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. There. Oh, by the way, speaking of, is your channel still up, YR?
Yeah, it's up there.
Okay, the Wire program.
Yes.
All right, good. Because you got some gems on there, that's for sure. There, us driving back from the pre-show is one of them,
I got
definitely.
all. Yeah, I got all that. Yeah.
Nice, good to hear there. All right, so tomorrow night.
Okay, let's close it up.
Okay, so tomorrow night we'll be taking a look at bizarre songs from the various bands and artists, and also a
And
little a discussion about one song being played from this one song being being played, but everybody else looking over the others.
yeah, it kind of like a one-hit wonders, but not one-hit wonders.
Yeah,
They had other songs.
yeah. So we definitely got to dig deep into that there. All right, so for YR, Keith, Arknolia, and myself, you guys enjoyed the rest of your Wednesday